Hey folks, it's Ben Edwards from Life in the Borough. I want to thank you for joining me for this 5-part series featuring each of the candidates running for Whitesboro ISD School Board. I hope each of these videos will give you a little insight into the character and the principles and the issues that are important to each candidate. I've incorporated some of your recommended questions as well as some of mine so we can see where they believe our district stands. But this isn't just about the issues, it's also about getting to know them as people as well. Now, I will say that each of these candidates went out of their way, and many of them changed their schedules to come and spend an hour with me, and thereby spending an hour with you. Those that are willing to serve our community, our kids, sacrificing their time with their families to make our community a little bit better is commendable for sure. And so I encourage you to tune into all 5 and then make an informed decision, an educated decision, either in early voting or on Election Day, May 3rd. So I thank you for being here. I'll ask you to subscribe to the channel and enjoy these videos. Thanks. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Life in the Borough. I'm your host, Ben Edwards, as always, and today we have with us yet another one of the candidates running for the Whitesboro ISD School Board here in 2025. Again, we have an election on May 3rd. Early voting has already begun by the time you get to see these videos. And this is an important one because we have 2 incumbents. We have 1 former member running again and 2 brand new challengers, including the person we have with us today. We're excited to be here because I've known this person for a while, but have never really sat down and had a great conversation with her. So we will introduce to you the final candidate we're going to talk to. Please welcome to the program, Brittany Knight.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
I know earlier you weren't feeling 100%, so I appreciate you. What do they say, cowboying up and coming anyway.
Cowboying it up.
Well, this is it's a pleasure that you're here. Thank you for coming.
Yes, sir.
And as I've said with everybody else, I really appreciate your willingness to serve, to serve the community, and your willingness to come here and let the folks of the community and the ISD and the whole region get to know you a little bit better.
Yes, sir.
Let's start as we've started with the other candidates. Tell me a little bit about you. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? You got family here? Tell me about you.
I originally moved here in the 6th grade. I came from the colony.
The colony.
The colony. We moved here from the colony. Came in middle school and haven't moved since.
Did you? So you spent some years in Whitesboro ISD?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Did you graduate from here?
I did. Class of 2002.
2002.
I'm a little older.
You're making me feel old, I'll tell you that. Do you miss the colony? Do you have family still down there?
I do not miss the colony. No, my family moved to Pennsylvania back in 2005.
Pennsylvania?
Yes, sir. They were offered a co-pastor's position at a children's ministry camp, so they packed up and moved there. It was a great thing up there.
And you stayed here?
I did stay here. I'm not leaving Texas.
No?
No.
Have you go visit in Pennsylvania?
I do go visit, yep. I have a brother and sister up there, and then my mom and dad.
Is it like Philadelphia side or Pittsburgh side?
About in the middle, Lancaster County.
Gotcha.
Amish country.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's a great place to be.
It is. It's beautiful.
Yeah. They have horns on their little wagon things. What do you call them? What do you call those things that they drive? There's a word for it. Wagon? I don't know.
The horse and buggies?
Yeah, buggy. That's it. That's the word.
The horse and buggies. Yeah.
We were on our honeymoon.
Yes.
And we were in Lancaster County, and we had somebody had put with shoe polish, honk for the bride.
Oh.
And we were taking this big long road trip, and one of them we pulled into, we were pulling out of a gas station, and they were pulling in, and they saw it, and you heard, yes. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yes.
Who knew, right? So, but you got to be careful up there when they're driving around.
You do.
Yeah.
They'll come up on you quick. Or you might come up
yeah,
on them.
Yeah, you come up on them. Maybe if you're walking.
Yes.
That's kind of cool. You get to go up there and visit and
I do.
hang out with family.
Yep.
That's neat. You said you've lived in the same spot since you've been here. Same house, same everything?
We lived out in Sandusky when we moved here.
Okay.
And then I moved, my senior year, I moved into town. So I've been in Whitesboro city limits since my senior year. Well, I guess Whitesboro.
What was your experience like in high school?
I loved it. My husband calls me a band nerd.
A what?
A band nerd.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Did you play in band?
I did. It was percussion. So I was in the band side of things in high school. And then middle school, I was in athletics and stuff like that, but focused on band in high school.
What, you say percussion, what'd you play?
The drums.
Yeah, but which, like?
Oh, I did bass drum in the marching band.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't fancy, but.
We just had another one of the candidates who was saying that they had played snare.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
We graduated together.
Did you?
Yes.
So y'all were band nerd mates.
We were. Band nerd classmates.
My wife is a band nerd.
Yes.
Clarinet.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I tried that my senior year.
And?
I liked it.
Yeah?
Yeah, something different.
So what all could you play? What all can you play now? Do you play anything now?
I don't play anything now.
You don't ever play drums?
No.
Did you ever sit down? I always wondered this. Did you ever sit down at a full drum kit and try it?
I had that little...
Like a little kid one?
Yeah, but I never had one.
They should stop making those. They're just annoying for little kids.
Yeah.
They're always giving them gifts, and nobody
my
wants to
youngest
listen
got
to
one, or my oldest got one.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it awful?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think nobody's good at that 5, right?
Those are the gifts you give parents
Mm-hmm.
that you can go home and you don't have to listen to it.
That's exactly right. So you stopped playing that was it. High school, you were done.
I was done. Yeah.
The bass drum. I guess you can't do too much with that. That's the big one, right?
Yep.
On the sides.
Yes, sir.
Does both of the sides, are they tuned the same? Are they both sides exactly the same?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you gotta stop with the sir thing.
Sorry,
just Ben.
No. My daddy raised me well.
Okay, so you go through high school. Your experience was good. Yeah, you said you're an athlete as well. What'd you play?
Volleyball and basketball.
Oh, yeah? Which one did you like better?
Volleyball.
Were you better at volleyball?
Oh, yes. Not basketball.
No?
No.
Can't shoot?
Nah.
Just
wasn't
didn't
my
like
thing.
it.
Yeah.
But they made you play?
Well, middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then high school. Kind of gave it up.
Yeah. Well, the kids get real tall.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Oh, yeah. This is my height.
The
5'3" I stayed.
5'3"?
Yes, sir.
My mom made us play 1 year of basically everything.
Yes.
I played 1 year of baseball and stayed with it. 1 year of football and stayed with it. But I also played 1 year of basketball. It was terrible. And soccer. I don't even think she made me play soccer.
Yeah.
That wasn't as big of a deal back in.
I passed the basketball on to the kiddo.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay, so you have kids? Yeah, how many kids do you have?
I have 3 boys.
3 boys. And their ages? Can you tell me?
18, 16, and 15.
Are they
Just turned 15.
Are they in the Whitesboro district?
High school. Yes, sir.
All in high school?
Yes. Senior, sophomore, and freshman.
Ooh.
I have a senior.
That's hard, yeah.
It is very hard.
I'm
always going.
Yeah.
We are always going.
But it sounds like a couple of them could probably drive, yeah?
2 of them drive, yes, sir.
And then do they drive the other one?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
It's getting a little easier.
Here's the question. Did the first one, when he got old enough, did he start driving the other 2, and now one of the 2 that can drive drives the third?
Yes and no. Depends on schedule. He played different sports than the other 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I keep forgetting that. All of y'all said the same thing. Well, my kids are, they got to wake up at 5 a.m.
Yes.
Like, oh, yeah. I got a 5-year-old.
Yeah. Get ready.
Yeah. I don't know about 3 kids in high
doesn't
school
get
at
it.
the same time. Oh, my goodness.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do. You just do it.
You just do it. And then one day you don't have to do it anymore. And then you're sad because they've all moved away.
No, you just adopt other kids in the town.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's probably it.
On your days off, you find other things to do.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You squeeze in interviews.
Now, do you think that you were you a good student?
I was.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I was not a good student.
You were not?
No, not at all.
I was the quiet one.
You're still kind of quiet. Move that mic towards you a little
I'm
bit.
sorry.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go. That's better. Everybody watching is just like, would she speak up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't hear her.
Or they're saying, she sounds great, but he's too loud.
That's fine.
Maybe that's it. Okay, so at what point, this is the same question I asked one of the other ones. I said, if your kids have gone through the system for quite a while, why are you choosing now to run? Have you run before?
I have not ran before. I have wanted to for a while now. I've put it off. One, some of the candidates or other board members I didn't want to run against, being classmates or being friends with, I didn't want to run against them. Just personal, personal reasons. But believe it or not, this is kind of how we started our family business too. There's a Steve Harvey video that says, if you're not going to jump, you'll never do it. And might as well just, I waited for the wrong year to do it, my son's senior year to do this, but it's fine. I've got this. We've got this.
Yeah. Do you find it, what's your kid's reaction? Because, if you have a kid that's 6 or 8 or something, they don't really understand what you're doing too much if you're running for school board. But high schoolers, they get it. They know the impact. They understand the role and the responsibilities and the duties of somebody on the board. Have they encouraged you? Have they been like, what is she? I guess they've known for a while that you wanted to do it.
We are more of a, it is what it is family. If we make it, we make it. If we don't, we just try harder next time. They know our views and they know what we want. So yeah, I think they're pushing for it more this time. They think I'm crazy, but it's fine. It's fine. I think all moms are.
I remember when I was running for council, and the first time, and I ran into a guy who was a former council member from years ago, and he said to me, "You're crazy. Why would you do this? Why would you do this to yourself? If you win, it's going to be awful." I was like, "What? If I lose, it's going to be awful." He's like, "No. If you win, it's going to be awful. So you're crazy." And I was like, "Okay." And he says, "Does your wife know about this?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, she's crazy too." And I was like, "Yeah, that turns out to be correct."
I've had quite a few people ask why you're adding to your plate. It's just one more thing.
Yep. You
just make it work.
Yeah. Now, are your kids good students? Like you?
They're like their father.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
they have an opinion.
They have an opinion.
They have an opinion.
So it's an opinionated family. Yeah?
Yes, they are.
Do you feel like personalities show up strongly on committees and boards? Or do you feel like they're tempered down a bit, the individual personalities, when you're working in a group?
I would say depending on the situation, your personality can show more one way or the other. Mm-hmm. Mainly depending on your situation would depend.
Is there something in particular in this election, at this time period, that has triggered you to say, now is the time that I want to run? Is there an issue? Is there some kind of accomplishment that you are focused on that says, I'm going to run now?
There's not necessarily one type of issue or problem that I see in the future forthcoming. What I'm focused on is some voices need to be heard that I feel like aren't being heard. Some things that I have noticed or been approached with because people already think I'm up there, have come to me and addressed their opinions, and I just want to voice my opinion a little higher up.
Yeah, sometimes when you're involved, engaged, connected to an organization, even though if you're not a voting member, a deciding member, if you're active as a volunteer or something, people will often say, "Hey, you do stuff like that, right?
Yes.
You know folks. Why is this the way it is? Or how come this hasn't been done? Or what's their goal for this? What's their plan for this?"
Correct.
And then you get to hear some stuff that's on the minds of the people that maybe they don't feel as comfortable going to the people who are actually in those official positions.
Correct.
You think that's it?
Yes.
Do you feel like your getting on the board would be I don't say a shock to the board, but do you think that it would change the dynamic considerably if you were there?
I hope to make it a little bit not just okay, yes, let's do this. Yes, let's do this. Or no, let's not do this. If something needs to be discussed a little bit further, or let's table this, let's table that. I'm not comfortable with that. I would like to.
Do you have any particular issues that you would want to tackle early on?
As of right now, no. I haven't been to enough board meetings this year to.
Yeah. Let's talk about the bond for a second, because that's the biggest issue of the year.
Yes,
of course, last year, I think I said in one of these other ones, 112 million. I think it's 118.
It is 118.
$118 million bond. Now you were on the
Horizon Committee.
Yeah, but you're the committee, right?
Yes, sir.
And as part of that, you had kind of the inside view, just as the rest of admin and the board themselves got to see that.
Yes, sir.
I'll ask you what I've asked the others. Do you feel like the product that, even though it's not technically a finished product, it's not built, but the plans as they are as of now, are you content? Are you happy with how it's gone so far and where they are compared to what your expectations were at the beginning? Do you think it's gone well, in other words?
Yes and no. With the prices of everything, some buildings and formats have gone over budget and some haven't gone over budgets. We also have to think about working with the city of Whitesboro on some of these that I don't know if some of that money was thought about, or maybe it was thought about and now it's pushed over to this way. We have cut some things out of some buildings to allocate money for the other buildings. I say we, contractors.
The town.
The town, yes, sir. So yes and no.
Are you happy with the result as it is now, overall?
I think so. I don't have a.
Yeah, some of these things, as we've talked about with some of the other candidates, is you don't really know until you're there.
Correct. You have to be at that board meeting to.
Yeah, and sometimes some of the information is only privy to the members.
Correct. Yes, sir. You don't know till it's decided on at the table.
Do you feel like the decisions made through the process were the right decisions as far as going with multi-campus improvements, additional, early childhood center, rather than building just one campus for another high school or something like that? Do you feel like those decisions were?
Yes. So with the early childhood center being built, besides having another high school, yes, I do believe we needed that. There were discussions on why we did not do the high school. One, it probably would have costed more money than just the early childhood center. Having the CTE building and having the ag barn and having the multi-purpose building and the auditorium, that opened up the high school a whole lot more than what a whole new high school would have done. And then the early childhood center opened a whole nother campus. So the high school pretty much got another high school, if you would want to say, having those other three buildings added on to it. We just didn't get a whole new high school, if you want to say that. Yeah,
the way it kind of transformed from initial thoughts of we'll probably end up building one single campus to morphing into this, it certainly seemed to address more needs across all grade levels.
Yes.
With the most pressing need being more room.
Yes.
Just simply overcrowding was the biggest problem.
Yes.
And we've talked about that extensively. Was this your role in this on the Horizon Committee? Was that the first type of committee that you've served on in this capacity?
No, sir. So I am part of a site-based committee on the middle school campus. So they go in and talk about the upcoming events for the next year and what can be and what needs to be addressed for the middle school campus. So it's not my first, I guess, rodeo. For this type of situation. But being on the Horizon Committee, I didn't realize how many students were on each campus. And I know the number of students in each of my kids' grades, and I knew the biggest classes of the grades, but I never put 2 and 2 together on each campus.
Yeah, it does seem like they're certainly getting bigger every year. When we first moved here, we moved here in 2019, and I think that they graduated 91 or something that year.
Yes.
It was low 90s, mid 90s. And last year was pretty low as well.
93.
But yeah. But they're quickly 120, 130, 118.
Yes.
I think the third grade, I have a daughter in third grade, and it's pretty big.
Yes. So the sophomore class, their 8th grade year, they were at 154, and I think 156 is max capacity for that.
Do you remember what yours was?
We started out with 114, I think, and we graduated 93. I think.
Makes you wonder what happened to those 20 kids.
We didn't make it all the way through there.
Oh, that's like a 1 in 8 quit rate, I guess.
Yeah, we didn't make it all. Some of them did move. I will say some of them moved.
What'd you think about the price tag of all of this?
Being a school district, I learned a lot. Just a front door. You put that label of ISD on a front door and you add 10 grand to it. So that opened my eyes on why the bond had to be so much. And also the bond before this one that built the high school was dropping. So that percentage of our taxes was coming off, and then this one was added. So I was okay with
the number
being on the committee.
Yeah,
and promoting it a little bit more.
It was there's a town south of here that's trying to push one that's over $1 billion.
Yes.
$1 billion with a B.
Yes. But they want a lot more things.
That's true. They
want more.
Tons of multiple campuses too.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't make it sound like they're spending $1 billion on the same thing we got here. But still, it's a lot.
Yes. I get it. Being on the backside of things, I get it.
Were you surprised at the vote?
I was.
Yeah?
I was.
Tell me about that.
Well, I don't know if you stayed up to watch to see if it came through.
Yeah, I was watching the election results that day, yeah.
That was a very late vote coming in. I told my husband, I was like, I'm going to take a shower and go to bed. I can't wait up any longer. And then he yelled from the living room that they both passed. And I was, being from the small town, you hear the comments. I didn't think Proposition B would pass.
No?
No, I didn't.
It was
just from the comments.
Yeah. It was very close.
It was.
Obviously, you were pleased with the result.
I was.
Did you feel like it was a mandate, especially Prop A? Was it do you feel like it was a big enough victory to where the citizens were saying, yes, we support this, it's clear, and we want you to move forward with this, you have our support? Not just, yeah, we'll do it, but yeah, this was a good idea.
I feel like it was.
Push forward.
Yes, sir. I feel like it was.
Yeah. It's always good to have that level of victory,
yes.
that margin of victory. How well do you know the current candidates and folks that are currently on there? I mean, many of the people we've talked to here are either former members or incumbents, and they've dealt with that. But working with the Horizon Committee, did you get to know some of these folks?
So I worked with Eddie on the Horizon Committee.
Right.
Shannon, I've got to know through the school board. Michael, I went to school with, and then Carrie, I'm friends with.
What about the other members that are not running this year? You know them pretty well?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I do. Yep.
That's cool to
Being
get
in the community helps a little bit.
It does. Do you feel like what is your insight when it comes to future challenges that are not related to making sure that everything in the bond gets done as it was originally intended, outside of the work for the bond and overseeing that? What else do you see as a future projects or potential concerns that have to be addressed within the ISD? What are the other issues outside the bond?
Outside of the bond, voices to be heard that are scared to come up to admin, upper management, I guess you can say.
Sure. Do you feel like this is a bigger issue than people realize?
I think so. I think people are scared of repercussions on whether it be themselves or students or other faculty members, I think.
Why do you feel like why do you think they feel like they can come and talk to you?
I think it's just because I am out there in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I don't know if I'm a safe place or I don't know.
Do you think that they would continue to come to you if you win?
I would hope so, because I want to be that safe place. I want to be that person that I always needed growing up. So I hope they continue to come to me and not be, oh, she's just going to be one of those. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that person. I get that. There's been a lot of allusions made to what the issues are with this, lack of communication, lack of willingness to be heard, and so on. I don't know. I'm not inside it. I don't know. I don't see it necessarily. That certainly doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I just don't have any experience with that. But it sounds like people are at least hearing that there are issues with failure to communicate, perhaps unwillingness to communicate. How does one address that from the board? Do you feel like you have identified where the problem lies? Is it is it particular people, or is it across the board as far as like a culture issue? How do you address that? If you feel like it's a problem, what are the steps to alleviate that problem? That I don't know yet. I don't know. I don't know where to start on all of that. That's going to be okay, here's my concerns, here's my voice for these people. How can we address it? How can we move forward? I can't fix problems, but I can try my best to help.
It's tricky because, we want to be supportive of the ISD and the admin and the board.
Yes, sir.
And the teachers and the parents and the kids. I mean,
Yes.
Across the board, we all want everybody to succeed.
Yes, sir.
But it doesn't mean that everything's perfect.
No, sir.
And it doesn't mean that...
I'm far from it.
It doesn't mean that that the problems don't exist.
No.
However, I think it's going to be... I would suggest that is going to be a very tricky scenario to try to figure out what the situation is and where the problem really lies if the people who are coming to you if they're not speaking up now, if they feel that there's an issue and they're not bringing it to the forefront now. Do you feel like you'll end up on an island saying there's this problem out there that nobody's stepping up to say, yes, I agree with her, so there's a problem. I'm just hearing this echo of a problem throughout the community. Like, how do you convince other people who may not see the problem that there is a problem if the same folks that are telling you there's a problem won't stand up and say, okay, now we have a voice, now we have somebody that'll stand up for us, and we'll stand up with them?
Without people coming forward, addressing some situations and voicing their opinions, nobody knows it's there.
Yep.
So if you have that one person voice it, and you have a few people come and stand in the background and watch the situations, they're like, oh, okay, I can see where they're coming from. And then you have that one person stand behind you, then you have 3 others stand behind you, and then it takes a village, and I will have to build my village.
So, hey, let's go through some of these questions that people in town have posted that they wanted me to ask you.
Okay.
We'll hit on some of the ones that we've talked about in the other ones. How about schools being a no cell phone zone? How do you feel about that?
We are already supposed to be a no cell phone zone for each class. They're supposed to drop off their cell phones at the beginning of school or at the beginning of class. Mm-hmm. They each have their own compartments to put them in. Some are more enforced than others, but
is that even at the high school?
It is at the high school.
Okay.
Yes. There are some classes where even my boys will complain they didn't get to have their phone in class today, and it was so boring, and you're not supposed to have your phone. You're supposed to be paying attention in class.
Did you have phones when you were in school?
I did not.
No.
I didn't get my phone till my senior year. That's because I was working. And paid for it.
I had a pager.
Yeah, I had a pager.
My age.
Yeah.
I still know all the codes.
Yeah.
Okay. So where does that put you? Like, those already exist, but how do you feel about it? We're
going to have to start enforcing it. I don't know how to enforce it even more. Not on campuses yet.
How about getting soccer as a school sport?
That would have to go through. That's the first time I've been asked. Actually, some of the, let's see, what grade are they in now? My son's a sophomore, so sophomore classmates. Some of them want to play soccer, so
yeah,
maybe
we had
step up and say something. I'm not for sure.
We had Rustin Reedy. You know Rustin?
Yes.
He was on the program a few weeks back, and he was talking about how he wanted to play soccer when he was in school, and he tried to get it done, and it didn't.
It was a no-go.
That was a no-go. He didn't get a lot.
I didn't know he wanted to play.
Yeah, I guess
that's cool.
I guess he did. That's I'm not a soccer guy. I hate to admit that.
My boys played 1 year, and they said no more.
Well, it's a lot of running.
It is a lot of running.
Too much running.
Oldest plays basketball, and that's enough for him.
Yeah.
He's no more.
What about a 4-day school week?
So in our district, we are a very low to moderate income district. You have to take in consideration all of the ones who don't have that opportunity to eat 3 meals a day. You have to take into consideration all of those parents who cannot take off that 1 day a week, that one extra day a week.
Yep.
So we'll have to outweigh our pros and cons on the 4 days a week. The other good thing about the early childhood center is maybe it could be that open campus of having a daycare center. I don't know. We'd have to play it by ear on that one, but you do have to take in consideration of those families who those babies don't get to eat on 3-4 day weekend holidays.
So let me play devil's advocate here, because I don't really have an opinion on this.
Yes, sir.
I'm pretty happy with the way it is, with every third week having a 3-day weekend.
Yes.
I think that works out really well. But I would say that S&S and Collinsville, they're doing it, and I think that they're pretty much the same, socioeconomic situation in those towns as we have here. So, I mean, as that would be the argument to say,
if the district chooses to do the 4 days a week, unfortunately, parents we will have to figure out how to do that. I mean, it'd be every week that. Right now we're at every third week.
Third week, yeah.
That they get a 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
So it'll be a little change that we'll have to go through. So.
Yeah, it's got to do with the minutes.
It does.
Yeah.
So we'll have to start
like
earlier and stay a little later.
Like I said to somebody else, why don't we just skip lunch and then take the last 2 weeks of school off?
There you go.
Skip lunch every day.
My kids would not go
15
for that.
minutes a day for lunch instead of 40 or whatever they get. Okay, how about this is a tough one. How are you going to enforce a no bullying policy? If the principal or vice principal doesn't hold up that end of the deal, will there be punishments for that?
So that goes into play on what I mentioned earlier on holding people accountable for the rules and regulations that we have in place. Yeah, so I will have to figure out what's going on and
do you feel like
which campus it is, and
do you feel like bullying is a bigger problem than people perceive?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. It's with going back on the cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
Cell phones play a big play in it. It's kids now are more vocal.
Yeah?
They have their opinions too. And it's just not being teased like we were back in the day.
Yeah.
Takes on a whole new level in this day and age.
Yeah, it's I can't. I said this to one of the other candidates. I can't imagine what it's like dealing with it. We'll never really know. Our generation didn't deal with that, and even though we're aware of it, it's like if you don't live through it, you don't really get it.
Correct.
I'll ask you one of the questions that I asked some of the other candidates. The issue of the bond. In Whitesboro, one of the biggest issues that we have right now is we're growing, and not just in city limits, but surrounding areas as well.
Sir.
And with that comes people who are excited for the new amenities that are coming, people who want to live here, but there's no houses. As houses are being built, they're having more opportunity to live here. But then there's a significant portion of our citizenry who are not excited about it at all. They love being a small town. They don't want to see that growth come here. And my question is, as an ISD, when you spend $118 million to build all these new campus as well as all of these things, it may very well be perceived that y'all are inviting that growth. Y'all are pushing for that growth rather than just preparing for it. Now, my personal opinions aside, how do you answer that? You're part of the committee that's put this all together. How do you address that for the people who are suggesting that the ISD, by doing this, is moving us in a direction that maybe some of them don't want to move, or at least faster than they would want?
I don't believe it's 100% on the ISD. The city approves these houses being built. It is 50-50. We got to keep up with what the city is approving. The city is approving, I don't know how many houses to be built back there in that back addition. Back on Parker and Locust, there's 40 other houses being built. So it takes a whole community, a whole village to all play a part in this growing community. So we are just trying to keep up and hopefully stay ahead of the growth and make accommodations for everything coming up instead of making all these babies crammed into closets and little tiny spaces.
Offices
and portable buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Then I'll ask you the follow-up question I've been asking them is, do you think that we went far enough? Should we have done more with this bond? Are we, in other words, is it too temporary, this fix that we've done to catch up?
I hope not. If it stays on track, I believe it will be not perfect, but almost perfect. We have enough land that if we need to continue on, and by then we should have our own funds that we can.
What part of the bond and all the changes, the additions, are you most excited about?
The CTE buildings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why is that?
I want some of these students that aren't college bound to be able to walk out with their certifications of auto mechanics, whatever it may be, the welding certificates, all of that stuff. My kids are not going to college. My oldest is going to be a lineman for GCEC. My middle one, as of right now, he does want to do diesel mechanics. He does want to take over the family business, but they are not college-bound kids. So to have those CTE building, and then the ag.
And then the ag.
The ag.
You threw that in at the end.
Yeah, then the ag building. That middle one.
A lineman. That's kind of cool.
A lineman, yes.
It's a dangerous job,
It
but
is very dangerous.
But it's like one of the most dangerous jobs.
Yes.
But
He'll be in good hands.
But there's already a song written for you, right? Wichita Lineman.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
Yes.
It's like being a truck driver. There's 1,000 truck driving songs.
Yes, there is.
But nobody writes a song about being an attorney.
No, maybe we can think of one.
I'm sure there's got to be some lawyer song.
I'm sure.
I don't know. I just don't know of any.
We can come up with
It's
one.
not the coolest subject to sing about.
Well, depends on the day, I guess.
Okay, so what do you want voters to know about you? What you want to get done? What's the one thing you want to leave them with when they think, should I vote for this person?
Your opinion matters. Your day-to-day matters to me. Your voice matters to me. So that's what I want you to know.
Where would you say that our ISD is across the board? Are we succeeding with our academics? Are we succeeding with our extracurriculars? Are we succeeding in raising good people? Are we succeeding in playing the role in our community that we should? Are we succeeding? What are the aspects that where we're doing really well, and what are some of the aspects where we can do better?
It's a tough question. I think we can do better across the board. Academic wise, I think we had our top 10 they're pretty good this year. All of them were. I don't know what their GPAs were. We had a good class. This is a smart class this year.
Yeah.
Yes, a very smart class.
We seem to have a lot of those in Whitesboro.
Yes, you have smart ones. I think we're raising good kids. I think we can. Parents play a big role in that.
Yeah.
But teachers play a bigger role, I believe. So, can we be there can we be there more for those kids? Yes. I want the kids to be able to come to school and be able to go to their teachers and, hey, Miss So-and-so, I have this problem. Can I talk to you? And I want them to be able to talk to them and not be pushed under the rug. So it's at all campuses. Some of these babies feel like they can't talk to anybody and they just get pushed to the side.
How prevalent is that, would you say?
Pretty prevalent.
And you think that's across all campuses?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
How do we fix that? If that's truly a problem, how do we fix that?
I hope to bring it to the table and open a few eyes. That is how I would like to.
Have you voted yet?
I have voted.
Yeah?
I voted yesterday. Yes. I did.
And you encourage everybody in town to vote?
Yes,
regardless
I am.
of who they're voting for, right?
Regardless of who you are voting for. Yes.
Okay.
Even my husband took my son to vote for his first time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's got to make you proud.
I did. I made him take a picture, too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The question is, did they vote for you?
I don't know. Not allowed to ask that question. I would hope. One would hope.
That's good.
He voted. But.
Hey, I know you don't feel good today. Under the weather for sure. And coming here and making sure that you were represented here and reach as many people as possible. I really appreciate you doing this.
Well, I appreciate it.
As I've told all the other candidates, I wish you the best of luck in this election.
Thank you.
And folks, Election Day is May 3rd. Early voting has already begun and will continue, was it all next week?
Until Tuesday, the 29th.
So Monday and Tuesday
Yes,
of
sir.
next week. And then next Saturday,
Yes.
of course, is Election Day. You can vote. Or you can vote at City Hall. It's the only place in the district. Yep. Yeah, City Hall, Whitesboro City Hall. And if you don't know where that is, Google Maps is your friend. You should know this.
Station.
What?
Next to the police station.
Next to the police station. Yeah, you're not supposed to help them find this. They
Well,
should
I would
know
like
by
to.
now.
I want to help them.
Oh yeah, you want to help them. That's right. I want to thank you guys for joining me here on another edition of Life in the Borough. Next week we go back to our regular guests, and we got some good ones lined up for you. If you have not, please take a moment to, let's see if this works. Hey, I did it again over here, to subscribe on YouTube and follow us on other social media as well. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time, Whitesboro. Bye.